ahead. It's 9:01. Go ahead and hit record.
Right.
And I'll kick us off.
You got it. Go ahead.
Can you hear me, or is it just my picture frozen?
I hear
Guys,
you.
welcome to week 1 Sip and Learn. Oh, go ahead. Hear me, but no video. The kids are Zooming, so that could be an issue. Okay, so welcome to week 1 Sip and Learn. We are so excited to have you guys here and kick this off with a lot of your questions. I had you guys post some stuff in the Next Level Legends group so that we can answer those. So we have Becky, Nicole, and Kim, and I'll help as well, answer all of your guys' questions. So the first one was, what are some strategies for turning discount coaches into working coaches? So any one of Kim, Nicole, or Becky, do either one of you want to take that one?
Well, I'll go if you want. Okay, guys, so let's face it, and for me, I think of things in steps. And first of all, you can't convince anybody to start working this business. It's something that you have to educate them. So yes, you can bring them in as a discount coach, but give them like a tremendous challenger experience, because in the challenge group is where they're going to get a real hands-on learning and coaching experience, learn what they need to do. But I think it all boils down to belief in the products. And when someone has a transformation, they really, really learn to love the products. And it's something that's the way I started. I just really believed in myself and in my transformation, but also in the products, and I wanted to pay that forward. I think it's a natural, organic transition. I don't think there's anything that we can do to force that from happening. I'll give you an example. I have a coach of mine that she was a discount coach, and out of the blue, she just made that decision on her own because of maybe the fact that I'm constantly talking about social media on social media about how our community is strong and how we are paying it forward and how you can use this as a launching pad to make changes in your life. So it's the messaging, it's the educating on the possibilities of what this business can provide, but more the belief in the products and giving them an incredible experience where they want more out of what you're providing them.
Becky, do you put your discount coaches into your team page?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are. They're in there.
That helps too, probably.
Oh my God, this lawnmower is driving me crazy.
You guys,
So
oops, sorry. Hi.
Go ahead, Kim. Go ahead.
I'll just piggyback because I'm by no means as experienced or good at this as Becky, but in the last few months, something I have done to try and get those discount coaches to participate, to do the things you wish they would do as a coach, is I've tried to have that close connection as well as like the experience of a great challenger, but to say like, you're having so much fun with this, I try and put the bug in their ear from day one. Like, can you imagine having 2 or 3 of your best friends or people you know who need this join you? It's so much more fun to do this, even if it's brand new to you, with some friends. And so planting the seed right away of the expectation that you could likely get 2 or 3 people to join you has helped me get some new coaches to hit Emerald pretty quick, to say, oh my gosh, I got a paycheck, like to get those things in their space that they never imagined. And of course, still you continue to say, well, how do I get them to now realize what to do next? But I think the challenger experience, and of course that just go for it kind of setting up, invite your friends, have them join you, no big deal. I'll help you do all those things in our same group. You can try it that way.
I have to agree with that. I'm sorry. I have to agree with her because that's one thing that I have done this year since around May when I decided to turn it back on, is I'm not going to put that lid on people right off the bat, like you're a discount coach and that's all that's possible for you. Even if they're saying they just want the discount, I'm like, yeah, but what if, like she just said, what if you had 5 of your closest friends create your fit tribe? It's using a more aggressive approach or a more bold approach. And allowing them to imagine them creating their own little community, and then having also planting the seed of, yeah, okay, you want the discount, but what if you can actually make your investment back? And it's planting the seed and not limiting them right off the bat. And I think that's maybe what I was doing in the past, and that's why people weren't doing anything, is because we were holding them back, putting expectations on people, when instead we could plant opportunities in their head, and they can start seeing that there are people in their life that could probably use our products as well.
Absolutely. So piggybacking off of that, this question is, how do you encourage customers to become discount coaches? Because a lot of times people shy away from the word coach, and she says she's tried affiliate, she's tried discount coach. So how are we wording it to where people jump in as coaches opposed to customers?
I can take this one. I think this is especially important during like VIP launches, because the coaches get the discount early. So I usually start my challenge group for new programs during the coach window. Like that blew up our team in July for MBF, because it was like you had to become a coach in order to get the early access to MBF. But I do, basically what I found was offering people the option of discount coach versus customer. Most people choose customer. So what I now do, and what I tell my business builders, is when you set up the enrollment, you just set it up as a coach. And then you send them the email. And I do change, you have an option in the share cart to change the like wording. So I have you can save a template in there. It lets you save it. Like you could say discount coach template. And so like when it sends the email from Beachbody, you want to make sure it's not saying like, can't wait for you to start your business. Instead, you kind of want that to say like, you know, excited for you to have this, like something about the discount more. But then I send them an email, or you could do this in your Instagram chat or wherever you've been talking. And I say, hey, super excited for you. Like you always want to show excitement. And then I say, I set up your enrollment as a priority member / discount coach. Here's the link. I said, you don't have to, I say immediately, like, you don't have to coach anyone. This is just so you get our awesome coach discount. You're going to save at least $15 a month going forward if you stay on the shakes. And I always say, I find that people who continue on the products and become priority members are more likely to stick with the programs. Because it is true, the people who commit, they go all in, they decide to stay on the products, they get best results. And I think that little sentence actually really helps them, because I've used it without that sentence. And I think that more people are more likely to sign up as discount coaches with that, because they're like, oh, well, I want to go all in, right? And I've really found that for me, most people will do it. And I find that people who lack confidence in their conversations with people, and they lack confidence in the fact that this discount actually does save their people money, because it does save them money. So if they sign up, it's the same price up front, but if they add anything to their cart, it's 25% off. And in a month, it will save them $15. And I always like make sure they know that they can cancel it at any time. If they decide they don't like the products for whatever reason, you know, you can easily cancel it with a form. It's actually easier to cancel a coach enrollment than it is to cancel your Shakeology if you decide you don't like it. I don't say all of that, but I have a template. I can share it in the group too, because I have one for my team that we use. But I find it really works well for the people who are confident. But I find you're going to get more pushback if you're not confident in the conversation, and you're not confident that what you're offering them is going to help them. Then you come at the conversation with a little bit more reservation, and you're more likely to be like, well, like if you just want to do the customer one, it's fine. And then they're going to just choose the customer one. So confidence is really important in this interaction. And the more that you have people sign up as coaches, the more you're going to get confident. So I think just do it and take a deep breath, and you're going to be surprised how many people are like, sure, because there's so many other network marketing companies that have affiliate programs where you get a discount. So if they're doing like oils or like other ones, they might already be familiar with this discount type thing. And then of course, I do have some people who are like, I'm not comfortable with social security number. I'd rather do the customer. And I'm like, fine. And maybe on occasion I might lose a sale from it. I don't know, but overall it hasn't affected my business. So that's what I teach. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do the same. I send everything as a coach cart because who wouldn't want to save money? I explain to them in the follow-up, don't let the word coach freak you out. You don't have to do any coaching. Leave that up to me. I can help you with a referral program. And I can post that script in the group as well. But it's only when they go, it says this coaching thing, or freak out, that I go, well, we can do it as a customer, but it's going to be, this much more a month opposed to this much. And that seems to work really well. Almost everyone I have signs up as a coach, and everyone that is ever a customer, I convert to coach almost 99% of the time, because I don't see spending more money if they don't have to, especially with bringing 2 friends in earns them $100 back. So those are really good questions so far, guys. The next one is, how much time do you wait until reaching out to someone who you invited told you no? Like, what's the follow-up process as far as you invite on a Monday? What's the next follow-up step, and how long do you wait?
So are you talking about if someone you invite them and they say no?
Yes. So how do you continue to make that engagement and continue to invite that person, and how long in between are you waiting?
So basically, if I invite someone and they don't respond, or they flat out say no, if they flat out say no, I continue the conversation and ask them a question about something else, so that we're like, they know I didn't just start this conversation. I don't not care about them. So I always say oh, great, I'm so glad that's working for you, what you're doing. And then I ask them a question about something else or related. If they just don't respond, then I might, honestly, I invite so many people that I don't get caught up in when I'm going to go re-invite them. It's more like if I come back and I see, I go to invite them again and I see that we haven't talked since I last invited them, then I'll respond to their story or ask them a question about something else. And then I'll go back maybe another time and invite them again. So it's not, I don't necessarily have a system. I'm just always developing the relationships and just talking to enough people that I'm not having to repeatedly invite someone that's not responding to me over and over.
I'll piggyback off of Nicole, because I think we're similar, her and I, in that I think we do invite a lot. I get people asking me, you hit High Success Club numbers. Do you invite, or do they come to you? People don't really come to me. I really do follow up and create those conversations. And it's the work. It's the work that nobody wants to, no one glamorizes it. It's just sometimes tedious and sometimes fun. Just depends on the day. But like Nicole, I really think it's important that you aren't the person who just try to sell them something once, and then because you were scared because they said no, you just didn't talk to them. You have to keep just those little things that's so cute in their stories, or where did you buy that, and have those conversations. And then I think super important is when you're having the conversation, trying to get the pain point and trying to find out what was it that they were struggling with. So if it's even a month later, you can go back and be like, hey, Christy, I remember we chatted last month and you told me you were struggling with that baby weight that you were, trying to drop. Did you figure out anything that's working for you? If not, I thought about you and I'm starting a new group. So remembering what the pain point is. And I try and tell my coaches, it's so important to ask the questions so you know what your solution is going to be. And you just literally keep going back. I mean, I'm one of those people who believe, I think it was Emily Favre once said, if they're in my stories, if they're liking my stuff, they're in my house, they're in my space, I'm going to keep inviting them until they tell me to get out all the way. So that's my approach. You're still here. I see you. I'm going to keep talking to you, but the pain points help a lot.
I mean,
I
I
love
think
that.
we're talking to human beings here. I don't think there's a formula every 3 days. I kind of go with my gut, and I always try to use the rule, if I wouldn't like it done to me, then I'm not going to do it to them. And I think we have to remember that is, if someone goes to you a couple days, send them an excited voice message. My friend Susie always says that you lead with excitement, you show them that, create some kind of FOMO. Hey, I still have the spot for you. And just let it be, disconnect from the outcome. Not everybody's going to say yes. I just think, guys, there's not going to be like we're not going to give you a strict 3-day policy here, like follow up every 3 days. It just doesn't work that way. You have to build that friendship. You have to ask questions like Nicole said. You have to touch on other things so that they don't feel like you're just trying to get them to buy something from you. So use a little bit of your compassion and lead with your heart. And if you wouldn't like to be followed up with every single day, don't do that to people. A lot of, in this group, we're going to do follow-up Fridays. At that point, on those Fridays, a lot of corporate America gets paid on Fridays. That's a great time to follow up. It's your approach, lead with questions, lead with excitement, like create a FOMO, like I have only a couple spots left for you, and then see what happens.
I love that. Okay. How do you continue to make your content and your social media fresh and not become someone that you just people swipe by?
Oh, I like that. Sorry, guys. Can I jump on that one? I mean,
Absolutely.
I love social media. I think it's exciting. And I think if you're getting stuck, if you're feeling like you're not passionate about something you have to share, you got to take a step back and you have to really ask yourself, are you excited about what you're doing in your daily life, whether it's your fitness program or your nutrition or what you're pouring into yourself? Because I think that trickles into what you're putting out there into social media. And it shouldn't just be a crafted thing that you're seeing, well, Nicole shared her transformation on Tuesday, so I better go do that. And then, Becky shared her income or whatever, like I have to do that. No, you have to be talking about what's relevant in your world and what's maybe the ups and the downs. It doesn't all have to be awesome, but pay attention to what's happening in your world, because that is what you should be kind of connecting with your social media. Like if your kids are back in school right now, it's like distance learning and you're stuck in it and you're struggling, that's relevant to people that may connect with you. So I think that hold on, my son is talking behind me. Jason, Chloe, can you guys be quiet? Like right there. It's just one of those things where like you have to pay attention to the reality of life. It should not just be like, I have to post online and be a picture perfect planned out thing. No, but we do have guides for you, right? If you want to find things that give you little ideas like, hey, on this day you can post something lifestyle or family, that's fine. Do that and always have a few extra photos that you love, and you have a few extra posts that you can have in your back pocket. So if you're uninspired 1 or 2 days, you draw from those. But get inspired. Start listening to your podcast. Start reading a good book, because that will light your fire and give you content to put out there.
I have to agree. I'm going to have to chime in here too, because for me, this year has been a big, huge awakening for me. And when the whole COVID quarantine started in March, I made a decision. I felt like God was telling me, jump back in. It's time for you to like be the light. So I assumed that role, and I used social media as my platform to share my faith and to try to be this positive person in times when the world is crazy. I'm not trying to shy away from the stuff that's going on. I don't stir the pot. That's not my style. I'm not a confrontational person. So please don't do that. I don't like people being mad at me. So I try to be positive, but I agree completely with Kim. And last week when you spoke on the team call, I was like, amen to everything she said, because that's what I've been doing. And I'm not so worried about how many likes I'm getting, because I know that my message is coming across, and I see it because I'm being authentic. I'm sharing my voice the way I want to say it, and I'm talking about my faith the way I want to approach it. And people, it's resonating with people because I'm letting myself be free. I'm not trying to be confined into a box of, I have to have this formula for social media. And maybe that's, like she said, there are, you can buy like calendars that tell you, what you should post for variety. But I do have, you said it last week, Kim, I guess, what are the 4 or 5 words that describe you? And I noticed that when I send messages to new followers, I have it in there. The 5 F's: faith, family, fitness, food, and fun. And that's what I post about. That is what I post about. If there was a liquor that started with F, I would probably throw one in there, but I haven't come up with one yet. But I think we have to try not to be so rigid. And I listen to a lot of personal development in the morning, especially to get my creative juices flowing. And I just go with it. And also funny posts, I love those too. That's part of me. I'm faithful, but I also drop F-bombs. That's who I am. I am free now on social media, and the people who get me are getting me. The ones who don't like it, they can go follow somebody else. That it's just, I think we need to just allow ourselves to go, oh, fireball, that's right. To go out there and share our unique approach, but also what is happening in your life, because it isn't. When I started, someone said you can't post when you're having a bad day. That is not true. That's not reality. We have bad days. It's okay, but share a teaching moment. Share with people how to get over that, or what techniques you use. And I think the more you do that, the more value you add into people's lives, things will start to shift.
Yeah, I think there's just so many stories I'm a big storyteller. There's so many parts of your life that you can tell stories. Like, for example, we went to the cabin with my sister-in-law and her husband and their kids this weekend, and instead of just sharing like a photo of us going and saying great weekend with family, I like told a tiny story just about how I'm an only child and I grew up with my cousins being close to me, and it was just like this little part of my story that I'm adding in so that someone out there is like, I'm an only child too, and I grew up close with my cousins. So I think like just when you're going to write posts or content is just always adding that little, like trying to remember to add that element of storytelling and like helping people just see another part of you. On that same note, I do think it's important, like that you're so like they came to follow you for a reason. So I do think that you should kind of stay on track with your main feed posts with a general, like 3 to 5 topic. Like for me, it's mom life, being a runner, and then like business and mindset type, like those kind of posts, and not even as much fitness anymore as it used to be. That's more in my stories, but people know if I don't talk to my twin moms very often, then they're going to stop following me. Right. And if I don't talk to my runners consistently, they're going to unfollow me, or they're going to shy away. So like once you kind of decide who you're talking to, it's important to make sure that you're looping them into your content, and kind of, you can reshare things that you've shared before. You have to remember hopefully you're getting new followers, and not everyone reads all your posts. So like you can tell the same stories in a slightly different way, or I've even used the exact same post from a couple of years ago before, or like very close to the same post. Like for example, I do this running group and I send a newsletter for it, and I literally send the same newsletter every time I have the group, because I'm like, it works. Not everyone reads it, and not everyone remembers exactly what you wrote. So sometimes like don't overthink it, and just like maybe repurpose a story you've already told, or like those intro, like sometimes I just like, hey, I want to introduce myself and like let people get to know you. There's so many things you can. I think the key though is just being yourself, being genuine, sharing value, and helping people get to know you, step inside, and why you're doing Beachbody, why you love what we do, what it has done for you.
Absolutely. And one thing I will say that I've learned over the years is what you talk about is what people want to know about, and what they, if you're talking about your Shakeology, they want to know what you're doing. If you're talking about your Energize, they want to know what that is. So make sure you're not just talking about our fitness programs, but talk about our products, talk about the coaching opportunity, talk about all those things, because that's what they are going to want to dive into and want to know about. So in my content, I'm always making sure I'm including all the things Beachbody, our community, the opportunity, right? The freedom it's created. So don't feel like you have to be in a rubric of any form of content. Okay, so we're gonna switch gears here to a training question. So when onboarding or training new coaches, what are the key actions you do to get them going and started right away without getting them overwhelmed? Like, do you guys have a process?
Yeah, so for me, I've really honed this in, and I think it's been pretty helpful, is I send my new coaches a very simple email that basically says I'm excited for them, and that they know that their first job is just to be a great challenger in our challenge group, and that they won't actually, if they don't have to host their own challenge group. I tell them the date of it, and then I have them fill out like a quick form, but with like helps me get to know them better. But basically what I do is I either send them a replay of our new coach call, or we have a new coach call. And on the new coach call, we used to like go into like way too many things. And I basically narrowed it down to, I just give them 2 action steps. And I say, I first give them a pep talk in the beginning of the call, like, you know, it's about consistency, you're a beginner, all that. And then I go into, your first step is to do social media posts. And I make sure that they understand they should have a strong, like, opening sentence, and then a call to action that is very clear. And I give them guidance on what photo to use. So I like really walk them through like how exactly to do this first post. And I tell them they can send it to me or their coach to review in advance. Because a lot of times they don't do a very strong call to action, or they don't do it real, like for the picture, like those, like the picture, the first line and the call to action can really make a huge difference on whether or not this post is going to get any traction. So you really want that person to get a first win, right? And so you want people to actually read their post and like support them. And then I tell them their next step is simply to invite 20 people to our group. And that's like, and I give them the perspective that when they do those 20 invites, like the goal is to help just one person get started. That's their first goal, is just to help one. And then I give them guidance on who exactly to invite. I say, the first 10 people I want you to invite are like friends, family, anyone who you think would like, you know, I don't say the dirt list thing, but you know, there's that analogy about like who would buy dirt from you, but basically like your supporters, your people who you want to do this with and you want them to try it out with you. And I say the next 10 should come from who liked and commented on your coming out post. And then obviously from there, there'll be more, hopefully there's more than 10, and then they can continue inviting off of who liked and commented that post. And I give them exact scripts that they can tailor to themselves, of course, but I really find that new coaches need exact instructions. Like if you think about it, they come in and they're like, what is going on? Like they have no idea. And when you say like, just invite some people, like, just like invite people to join you, they're like, what does that mean? Like they like, I found that if I tell them exactly what to do, that gives them the power to go out and take action. So I tell them not to don't listen to any trainings, and let's just do these first 2 things. And then I have a Google Doc that explains what to do once someone says they want information. Because that's usually what happens. They do the coming out post. They're like, oh my gosh, people want information. And then I'm like, here's the Google Doc, and it walks them through what to do next. But I don't explain that on the call, because if people get too caught up in every single detail, then they get paralyzed and then they get overwhelmed. So this has worked pretty well for me to get people started quickly, get that first win. And I think reassuring them that they don't even have to worry about the challenge group. They can just add people to yours also helps. It just takes all that off their plate and just helps them get that first win. Because once someone gets a first win and they have someone who's relying on them, they're way less likely to quit, right? But if they don't get any win and they never start, and they just get overwhelmed with information, and they're reading a personal development book and they're doing all this stuff, but like nothing's happening, then they're out. So that's my guidance.
I love it. I think that was pretty thorough. Unless either Kim or Becky want to add.
For me, it's similar. The one thing I've changed this year is exactly that. Like, no more trainings, no more bogging them down with a lot of stuff. I'm like, don't even worry. Who are your 5? Let me help you create that first win. And it's planting that seed of, let's create your fit tribe, sign them up with the same package that you're doing, let's get them into the challenge group. And then I work with them on getting that wording out and how to massage that. But it's really important that they just start, because I'll take it back to 10 years ago when I started. Nobody told me what to do. I just went out there and started talking to people, and I created those wins, and that's what got me excited. So what I've done this year is tap back into that. What I did, I believe you learn by doing. I mean, you could watch trainings until you're blue in the face. If you don't take action, you're never going to learn. So it's getting the coaches to just start talking to people, their closest inner circle, their warm market, their parents, their sisters, their brothers, and getting those quick wins in so that they'll keep moving forward.
Yeah, I also do warn people on that call. I think it is important to warn them about the fact that not everyone's going to respond, and like give them reassurance that those people are busy. It's not about them. They will maybe come around. And I also do warn them, like, you might come across someone who's kind of negative, and you just move on from those people. Like, what I found is, like, sometimes you'll set people off and they go and do 4 invites, and then one person's like, oh no, I don't do Beachbody. And then they're like scared and they just stop. So it's also important to be checking in with them and be like, okay, how are the invites going? So that you can like kind of reassure them and push them to like keep going when they're getting those comments or whatever, or that no one responded.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I think helps too, and this is only once I've taken a bit of action, so not right in the beginning, don't confuse this part, but 2 things I've done with coaches that are showing the action part, right? Like, you've got to see the work being put in, because I think I'm a lot like Becky, where I'm all about leading with heart and just dive in, and Nicole's very much like oriented to training and systems. So I learn a lot from Nicole, and it forces me to do better on that end. But I get disappointed with coaches who tell me they want to do things or do like a couple things, and I'm excited for them, and then they bail. So trust me, we all feel that. But when they are showing up, like they are showing up on social media and they are putting in the effort, I've created 2 things that I think has boosted their morale and their connection within my team. And that is, I've created like an Instagram pod. So I call it Coach Love. I put some of my newer coaches in, and the idea is that we're supporting each other on Instagram, so they can say, I have a new post, and we can all go like and comment, because in the beginning, it does really feel good if you're seeing like people are giving you love on your stuff. That just boosts confidence, and hopefully makes them keep taking action. And the same as we've heard from other people, the pods on Facebook, only once they've taken some action. So I've got a new like 2020 new coaches pod, because I use my team page on Facebook to give info, but I know it's overwhelming. So I'm finding the pod is showing me, out of all of them, who's like commenting back, who's saying, okay, cool, thanks for that. You know, I think again, it shows you who maybe is going to be worth your time to take the extra step of saying, show me your invites, how's it going, versus the ones just sitting and looking. So those are 2 things I'm adding on, maybe like 3 weeks later once they've begun.
Yeah. And if you guys are on this call and you're like working your way to Diamond, like you should be using new coach training and like their system. Like, don't recreate your own right now. Like, just focus on getting recruiting. Same thing with like the new, like how I want the new coaches to focus on action. I want you as like an up and coming leader, not to be creating your own systems and like even maybe your own pods, just putting your people into your coach's pod if they have one, or like saying, can I be in your new coach pod and add my coach, and then I can help mentor them with you. Like, I really like, don't think you have to redo it all, because maybe you only have one coach, right? So just ask your coach, can I add my new coach to your pod if they're showing you something? Because I know adding on that layer of leadership is like unnecessary at this point where you are, if you're not yet Diamond.
Yep, I love that. Okay, so this is kind of like a 2-part question. So how many power hours do you do a day? And do you set time specifically aside to create content for like a week or a month to pull from? I mean, I can take this. I do not set my content up ahead of time. I am a fly by the seat of my pants. What am I doing today? That's what I'm going to post about kind of person. And I do a morning power hour every single morning with my team and my runners. And then every evening there is an additional power hour or team call slot that I ask one of my leaders to run. So my team always has 2 options to pop in a power hour. And depending on what we're doing, if I'm pushing for things, I'm usually in both, but the morning is when I work my business best. before my kids have gone on the internet, and it just works for me. But as far as content, I feel like me taking the posting the content, just my personal opinion. So I'll just post whatever I'm doing, like memory joggers per se, like Mom Monday. If it's Monday, I don't have anything to post about, I'll post a mom hack, you know, or Tasty Tuesday, I'll post a recipe. But that's only if I need to pull something, right? Because I have activities in life, and hope that's enough hope that's interesting enough for people. Anyone else?
Yeah, I don't plan my posts either. I'm also like you. I'm fly by the seat of my pants, like whatever I'm feeling. I can't force it. That's the thing. I've learned through so many years is like when you're forcing posts or just throwing crap out there because you just need to. I'd rather not post if it's gonna be forced. I'd rather just stay silent for a little while until I can regain my thoughts. I think again, you guys have to figure out like, if you're working and you're balancing a whole bunch of stuff, when I was working full time, I used to schedule my posts, and because I couldn't be online all day long. So at night, before I went to bed, I would schedule all my posts for the following day. So yeah, at that point, it was kind of planned because I didn't have that much time. And if you need to do that, then you need to go look for social media managers that help you with sharing posts. But if you're like really busy and you have you're balancing a lot of stuff, I would say definitely sit down one day a week. And if that works for you, and have a theme for the week and every single day, and that way you have some kind of a direction. I know Suzette does that. She has a theme for every day. She tries to stay close to that so that she's providing value and inspiration every day. But I think we need to learn how to coach your own way, because we all do things so differently. And yes, it's great for us to learn from each other, but we have to also develop what works for us. So, don't try to adapt to my style just because you think it's working for me. It has to work for you and your life so that you're presenting yourself in an authentic way.
Yeah, I do think I don't plan my content necessarily either, but I do think it's important. I do look at like what's coming up. Like, do I need to do a challenge group? And because I do invite to my challenge groups in my main post, but I only post on my main feed. I only do probably 4 times a week, 3 to 4, maybe 5 if on a good week, but usually 3 to 4. So I can't invite to a challenge group right after I just invited to coaching. So I do like kind of, even though I'm not planning my posts, I do kind of look at my squares and I think, okay, I haven't posted a running photo in a while because my niche is runners. I need to post a running photo soon, or I need to post a transformation photo, ideally in my like top 9 squares, so that when someone goes to my page, they see my transformation, because I'm really proud of my transformation. It's a big part of my business, is showing people the products work. So I want to be including that. So I kind of like, I'm analyzing it, but I'm not like planning it necessarily like each day. I wanted to do that, but it's just not who I am either. So I'm not forcing it.
No, I love that. I think most of us do. I mean, as long as you have a game plan, I think that's a little better than trying to write it all out. For a week or a month would be crazy. Okay, so our next one is...
Katrina.
Go ahead, Kim.
Sorry, I just saw in the chat. I don't know if you saw in the chat. Someone asked, like, how do you get your good photos? You guys, I got one word for you. It's called a tripod. If you don't own one yet, go to your Amazon cart, go and buy it. It's like $25 to $35. You can buy one with a ring light, which I love, or you don't have to. Just make sure you open a window and you get some light, or you go outside, and you've got to have one of those. If you're here in this group right now and you don't own a tripod, that's your gift to yourself this month, because that's how you get your photo. You don't have to ask your spouse or your family or your kid, take my picture. You have good angles, you feel confident, and that's it. Clean your lens. Yes, Emily. Just make sure it's bright and light and move on. That's all you need.
Yeah, I literally have said, like, you have to get a tripod for your marriage, because if you don't have a tripod, then you're asking your husband to take a picture, and he goes and takes it, and you're like, it's the worst photo ever. And then you want him to take another one, and then he's frustrated. So it's like, you got to get the tripod, you guys. I have like 3.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, so do any of you have tips for new engagement? I think we all run into this where it's like you have the same viewers on your stories over and over, and you've probably already invited all of them. So does anyone have any quick tips on boosting engagement?
I notice my engagement goes up when I post good content. So if I do a really good post, then I get more people looking at it. So, I mean, and then part of it is also just another way you can get people to watch your views. And I tell this to like newer coaches in particular is like, go to who's following you already. Most of those people, like who watches your stories is a small percent of who follows you, right? So one strategy is you can go to your followers by clicking on your profile, go to your followers, and then every day pick a letter. So go A, B, C, D, go down the list and start engaging with those people, because it's most likely they're just not seeing your stuff. So if you go and engage with them, send them a DM or respond to a story, post on their comment, or if they haven't posted in years, unfollow them or whatever, if you're following them. But re-engage with your existing followers. They followed you for a reason, and that will get them to go look at your story. Another way you can boost engagement on an actual post in order to get it more likely to show up in other people's feed is I try to intentionally post my social media posts right before I'm going to do a power hour, because if I post the post and then people are commenting on it, ideally you're getting comments on your posts. If I go and respond to those comments, they're going to come back to the post again, and maybe they'll respond, or they'll at least read it and heart it. And it's creating more like engagement on my post. So especially if you ask like a question, like if you ask for advice, especially about parenting, at least for me, usually I get a lot of that. Or if I ask people to tell a story, if I'm like, tell my twin, like I go back and tell stories about my twin pregnancy, about my twin birth, about my twin being the hard days with newborn. Even though my twins are 2.5 now, I'm still engaging and getting like talking to my twin mom followers, and I'll ask them like, how was your birth, or how was this? And then they will comment and tell me. And once they comment, then I go back and I respond to their comment, and it just creates more. The more you can get people interacting with your posts, the sooner, the better, the more likely more people will see it. Another reason you want to do your power hour right after you do your post is that by you going and engaging with new people or liking and commenting, they're going to go back to your post, your feed. They're going to probably see your most recent post, and they're more likely to read it, which is going to, again, tell Instagram to show your post to more people. And I find that if like my main post is really good, I'll get way more story views. Like my story views will like go up and down by like hundreds, depending on how my post is. I don't know if that helps, but yeah, just always adding new people too is going to increase it.
I was muted. I was talking back like, yes, that's great. I love it. And I realized I was muted. So I'm so sorry. No, that's perfect. I love it. Kim, did you want to add anything to that? I noticed you were, or you were good. No, you're good.
I think I'm okay. My Zoom is like freezing a lot. Can you guys hear me okay or see me? I'm freezing.
You're good.
It's okay. The only thing I've done, and I was slacking, and I started to feel like a lot of you where I'm like, same viewers, not really engaging with new people. And I talked to Maddie, who's on our team, and she just reminded me, like, it is just as simple as Nicole said. You've got to be going every day and spending that time to grow your reach with the people that are in your realm. And it's just the love bombs, the comments, the follows, and that has gained me new followers, real people. So it's not about trying to gain 1,000 followers in a week. It's about gaining the right real people. And that is taking the timer, setting the timer, going to the things that are relevant to you, talking to those people. Repeat. That's going to grow an organic following, and it takes time.
I love it. It's a true story. It does take time, but consistency is key. And the more you do it, the more it will grow. So we've been on for about 45 minutes, but I have a question here that I think we need to answer. So for someone who wants to grow their organization quickly, what is a strategy for identifying a business builder? And what system? So we kind of talked about our Getting Started Right system and implementing that, but handling them as far as the business load, like power hour as opposed to growing a team and managing your emeralds and everything below you, right? Like, where is your time best spent when you're wanting to grow quickly? And for me, it's staying in phase one at all times. I work my business first before I, reach out to my team. I stay inviting every single day and making sure I'm staying in that phase one of recruiting and inviting and making sure my business is worked first. And then I move to my team and how can I help? Where are we at? Where, who's advancing to emerald? Who's needing to go diamond? All those things. So I think it's important as far as growth with speed and all of that is staying in that phase one of recruiting and inviting. Like, that part of the business, I don't believe for me will ever go away. I think you have to stay right there in phase one for forever if you want to continue to grow. And the more you stay in phase one, the faster it will happen. So yes, you have to lead a team as well, but I do think that comes with time, right? I think staying in phase one is the first part of that. Anyone else?
Yeah, you can't drag anyone. And I think one thing I wish that I had known back when I was trying to get to diamond, or honestly, I think diamond to 2-star was like that was probably the hardest part for me, because I felt like I was like starting to have a team, but then they weren't always doing what I wanted them to do, or they're not as motivated as me. And I would say the same thing as Katrina, but I also just want you guys to know that, like, people quit. People say they're going to sign up and they don't. People who say they want to like grow the business so much, they don't always do it. So it's like, you just got to keep bringing in the people. And it is tough because I connect with these people and I see so much in them. And I've just learned that like, you pretty much have to treat everyone like they're going to be your next rock star and that they're going to quit tomorrow, and just kind of focus on yourself and your business growing first, and then next the team. Although I probably spend more time than I should on my team, but I've heard that at this phase, you should probably be 95% on your own, 5% on your team. And I think that the ratio I've heard is like, once you're 5-star and above, it might go down to 80% your own business and 20% your team. But I don't think it ever goes after that. Like, you're always working on yourself first. Because the people who are business builders, and you won't believe it until you get one, they're going to do it anyways. So you can't drag them along, or you can't force anyone to be a business builder. They're going to be, or they're not.
I absolutely love that last comment. They're going to do it no matter what, right? That's gold. Like, when you get those ones, that's amazing. But I absolutely love that. To kind of piggyback off that is this last question about rebuilding your team. And I just, we're all going to go in different stages in growth, and we'll kind of probably wrap up with this one. But I want you guys to really think, like, the 5-star team I have now is not the 5-star team I had 5 years ago, right? Like, diamonds have quit, people have left. So you may go through a rebuild phase, and that's okay. And you will go beyond that. But I want you guys to know that not everyone that starts with you finishes with you, and there is no finish line. So you have to really let that sink in, that we've all had to rebuild this business at one point or another, and you probably will too. So don't let that discourage you. You just keep going. I'm sure Becky could probably speak to this way more than I can, but just know that we all go through a rebuild. Do you want to piggyback on that, Becky?
Yeah, I think this is a great topic for you guys to just let it sink in now. Expectations. Yeah, I've lost, I don't even know how many. I mean, I was 15-star. I managed, now with the excitement and the momentum and the belief that I have again, I'm back to 12-star. It's not even the same people. There was only a core of 5 that are the same. And I think the sooner that you can accept the fact that not everyone is going to see what you see, you can move past it. I have let disappointments hold me back in the past. I see now that it's just part of my journey, and we have to know that it's going to be a continual rebuilding, redevelop me redeveloping. And if you're constantly in phase one, finding new people, developing leaders, some will, you know, we have to learn to love people where they're at too. We cannot force people to, not everyone wants to be a 15-star diamond, you know, that, and that's okay. Love them where they're at. As long as we allow that to happen, people will stick. At the end of the day, we want our teams to stay together. Your excitement, your energy, your belief is what's going to translate and move people. And that's how we're going to move mountains together. It's with your message, what you have in your heart. But you have to, you have to be realistic that, you know, we're dealing with a lot of different personalities here. And as long as we're just sharing the goals, working together, and never, ever stop recruiting, then you're going to keep moving forward. But don't put all your eggs in one basket, because that's where disappointment sets in, and that's where your confidence will get shaken. It's happened to me, believe me. And it's not until I took ownership of my energy and really started to shift my message that all of this has redeveloped. So, you know, it can happen. It doesn't matter how many years you're into the business. You're going to get knocked down. You just have to find the strength within you to get back up and just keep marching forward. People will come along with you at different, at their own capability.
Yeah. And I think it's just so important to like speed of the leader, speed of the pack. And it's like, I remember, like, I've always been someone who was hitting Success Club. I was showing my team what they needed to do. And at times I was like, why is no one doing this with me? I was like, why aren't they doing it too? But I just kept going and I kept running faster. And I love, Ashley Molstad always tells this analogy of like running around the track. And she was like, I was sprinting and no one was there with me. And I was just waiting for like someone to come run beside me. And it didn't happen for years. And like, that's not to discourage you, but I'm just like, if you keep going, if you see big things for this and you just start running, people are going to start running with you. But if you're walking, no one's going to run with you. So you got to run, and you just got to know and have faith that these people are going to come. And just in the last 2 months, I've had 2 women come on my team. They're both actually in this training, but one hit diamond in 16 days. And she sprinted with me. And I've never had so much excitement in this business as having her come alongside me. And we're doing it together. And it felt so good. But if she would never have come if I didn't run too. So just know that like, this is a marathon. I'm a runner. I'm going to keep giving you running analogies, but like, don't give up before the end. So keep going. You're just at the beginning right now. If you're almost done, if you're shooting for diamonds, like you're getting to like the 10K mark of the Beachbody journey. So
Yeah.
don't quit.
That's the truth. It's just the beginning.
All right, you guys, I think that wraps up our Q&A. I hope you guys learned a little bit. I see in the chat people said they had 4 and 5 pages of notes. I think that's awesome. So it sounds like it was helpful. If there's anything else, you can always drop them back in the thread and we can answer those for you. And we'll post some scripts and stuff like we talked about in the page. Otherwise, go have an amazing Wednesday and implement what you learned. Action, action, action. All right, guys. Happy Wednesday. Have a good one.